Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hey y'all, and welcome to Straight Up with MS and all its crazy little circles here on MS&Me Radio, brought to you by the MS Global Support Network. Yay, I got it right. I almost messed up, but I got it right. And I'm your host, Patty Long, and you can find me at MS&It for Life. That's MSENIT, the number 4, LIFE. And I'm on Twitter. Excuse me, guys. I promise I'm getting over this little rattly cough sort of thing, but I never got the flu, but the little cough thingy, I do have that. I told you last week my throat felt scratchy, but I never got really sick from it or anything. I've just got this little scratchy cough thing going on. But anyways, I am now on not just Twitter, but I don't have any videos posted yet, but I am on YouTube. And so if you look for me on YouTube, you can also find from my page my subscriptions to MS&Me Media and Radio, and find everybody's shows that way, and all these great videos that I keep telling you about from the MS Gym and Erica Lyons Richardson's interviews and just all kinds of things. So I really hope that you will find them online, and now you have another way to do that. And also from mine, you can also find people that I am following, other people that I am following, like Dr. B, that I talk about all the time, from Ohio Health MS. His name is Dr. Aaron Boster, and I hope I didn't mess up saying his last name. But he is awesome, and he does tons and tons and tons of videos just so that we all can understand from a doctor's point of view what is going on. And then I also follow Dr. Giovanni, and I hope I didn't butcher his last name. He does Bart's blog, and he's another expert in another part of the world, and he works very closely, it seems, with Dr. B, or their friends, colleagues, however you want to put that. But they discuss things and discuss MS, and I followed many of their discussions online and asked the questions that for things that were confusing me. And they're both great. They'll respond when they have a chance. If you have a question about something they have said, if you ask them, which I did ask Dr. B at one time, what type of MS I had, because nobody would tell me. And all I heard was, you have the relapsing kind, you have the progressive kind. And I never got an actual name. And the only thing that I could find that had both was, and now I can't even remember which order it went in. Is it relapsing progressive or progressive relapsing? I think it's PR, progressive relapsing MS. And that's the only one I could find. Now that's less than 5% of the population, but it didn't really truly seem to fit. It was like really super close, but it would take a doctor to tell me if that was what I had. And nobody did. And so I ended up like I said last week, having brand new symptoms that would come on in between these very violent and aggressive attacks. And just out of the blue, I mean, and just bam, and you've got this brand new thing. Um, I remember the first time I had a brand new thing was in between attacks, not during attacks or anything, but in between these attacks. It was to my ear, and it was my left ear. And it felt inside like there was something in there tickling me from the inside, and I started giggling and moving my head, trying to, how, like, if you get water or something in your ear and you can kind of feel it move. So I thought, well, maybe that's it. And I kept doing it, and somebody said, "What is wrong with you?" I said, "Well, it's got to be a new MS symptom." And everybody got mad. And here I am kind of laughing and stuff because it's tickling. And that's all it was this major tickling sensation. And if you get it, if you're not a person that's afraid of being tickled or that has issues with being tickled, and I know there's a lot of people that are, my daughter is actually one of them. Tickling her is like cruel, so unless you're like that, then you would probably find it funny to feel what I felt and be giggling too. I don't think I was giggling inappropriately. I think it was just that this sensation was so strong and it made me giggle. So but everybody in my family that was there that evening, and I think it was my two boys. I don't think my daughter was there, and my husband. And they got angry with me and started saying, "Everything's not MS." And I'm like, well, by this point, pretty much everything did turn out to be MS for me. And if it had not been so weird, MS wouldn't have come to mind. But I have found that anything super, super weird is MS. And we hear this all the time. We'll make sure that it's not yada, 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 yada. Okay, well, if you're having something so weird and unexplainable, and that you don't even really have words to put with what's going on, then I would say it's probably MS. So, I felt this weirdo tickling, and it just came on like that. I mean, bam, and it was on. And yes, I'm so proud I can snap today. So it's not a loud snap, and I want a loud snap so I can call my dog. But anyways, I mean, these weirdo things. Now that tickling sensation that I started with, unfortunately turned to the buzzing. They call it ringing, but it didn't sound like a ring to me. It sounded more like a buzz because it was deep. And so, and I will butcher the name of this too. I don't know. It's like the little kid who can't say spaghetti. Now I can say spaghetti, but I have to really think about it and really try and pronounce it correctly, or else it's going to come out wrong. And I think a lot of us with MS have this issue. But tinnitus, I think is how you say it. I'm not looking at the spelling. Oh my gosh. I hate to pronounce it wrong for you guys. But this is the so-called ringing in our ears. But mine was a very low pitch, and it actually was very interfering with the sound of my youngest son's voice. He had a deep voice, and he talked softly. I'm the loudmouth in the family now. It used to be my husband, but now it's me. I just talk loud. And a lot of times, people are like, would you be quiet? Quit yelling. And I'm like, I'm not yelling. I just talk loud. Can you please ask me to talk softer in a much nicer way? I mean, I just literally, I don't really know. So, anyways, this this buzzing started, and it was a problem when it went from the tickling to the buzz, because now I can't hear my son. And um, of course, I was told there's nothing you can do about it. And by this time, I wasn't that far along since diagnosis, but I'd had several attacks. And so I was going to see my doc like every week or maybe every 2 weeks by then, because at one point I went every single week to the doctor's office, where I waited in the waiting room for an hour for my 10 minutes with him. I sure hope you guys aren't having to do that. I go to a wonderful place now, and I sit down and look at the fish or whatever, because I've got this huge fish tank in there which is salt water, and I've got freshwater tanks, and they're very different. So, but yeah, I wait maybe 5 minutes, and then it's my turn to go back, which is amazing. And then I'm not waiting for a long time. Then they don't quadruple book one doctor, and expect him to be able to take care of everybody there. So this was one of the first times with this tinnitus or tinnitus. This was one of the first times that I'd had a brand new symptom come up in between attacks. And so it was progressive, because that's kind of what progressive MS does. It's new symptoms, new damage that starts happening even though you're not in a relapse, or what I call an attack, or that could be called a flare. I don't like the word flare. I think it's got the wrong connotation. Like, it just flared up and it'll be gone in a second. And it's not gone in a second, guys. So I don't like that word. But what I experienced when I had these things were attacks. I mean, they were full-blown attacks. And I barely saw any kind of recovery from them at all. And then there was another one. And so now we're adding progression in between. And I guess I'd had maybe 3 attacks at this point. And, we're seeing progression in between. And, within a few more months, I had gotten back towards summer and was outside all the time. And then, bam, I was hit by what I was talking about last week with the incontinency, which I did cause to flip-flop to retention when I overdid it with my exercises, which that is just as awful. Believe it or not, it is just as awful, because it is so uncomfortable and painful. So honestly, I'd rather be incontinent. But both, like I said last week, can be helped with exercise. So what about the tinnitus? Can it be helped with exercise? How do you exercise your ears? Well, I don't know that listening to things really is exercising your ears, or if my son learned to talk a little louder when he talks to me, or if it's the good old fashioned placebo effect of you think it's good for you and therefore it helps, which I told y'all about persuasion and the power of persuasion. And that's what the placebo effect is the power of persuasion. And I don't know that you can fix a neurological issue with the power of persuasion. You can fix your mindset with the power of persuasion. And I tell people this online when they tell me that they're just really going through a rough time. And I understand rough patches. And I understand that rough patches aren't always related to our health. Sometimes it's related to how others see us and how we respond to them. And sometimes it's related to the fact that people don't see us at all. And sometimes it's the normal things that anybody would go through. But regardless of what it is, if you just keep telling yourself every single day, saying it out loud, as soon as you get up, as soon as you wake up, this is going to be a great day. I'm going to have fun today. I'm going to laugh my booty off till my cheeks hurt. I'm going to laugh not even just till my cheeks hurt, but I'm going to laugh so hard that it's going to tighten my core all the way down and help me gain that six-pack that I want. You know, that really super strong core and soft muscles that I want. And yeah, when you get into a good laugh, you can do that. And if you haven't ever felt that, then you may not have been paying attention, because you need a good belly laugh. I mean, a really, really good belly laugh. And so you tell yourself this every day. So persuade yourself every day, first thing in the morning, by saying it out loud, and then repeat it, every time you need to throughout the day, to remind yourself that it's going to be a good day. I don't care that so-and-so blah, 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 but I don't care that I broke my favorite new piece of glass. And I do care. I really do. But I'm not going to let it ruin my day. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So I tell myself all the time, I'm going to have a good day today. I'm going to have a great day today. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to smile. I'm going to have fun. And believe it or not, telling yourself this over and over out loud is that power of persuasion that you're creating in your brain. So is that why I was able to adjust this tinnitus to work, or was it what I was doing? And I don't know. I would love to know, but I don't think there is a way to know for sure. But I found that with my low tones, that I was hearing my low tone buzz. And I want to stress that, because I think if your buzz is a high pitch, then you would need to do things a little differently. But for me, mine was a low pitch. And so I love music. I've told y'all that before. And I found songs that had a lot of a low tone beat to it. Something that, not just your bass beat, but, also bass instruments. So that there were a lot of low tones within the song. And I kind of think that this is why it's not as big a deal. Now, I've also noticed that the tone itself that I hear has changed somewhat. And I think that also has been really great because now it's not the exact same tone as my son's voice. And so maybe that's why I hear it. And, you know, so now maybe I need to find music that is a little higher pitch. And I'm wondering if I can actually get rid of it. I know that I listened to some stuff that was super high pitched, and that just was like murder on my ears. So and my whole head, and I had to, it's like you stick your fingers in your ears to block the sound and run, except for my running is really slow. So but I can look kind of like I'm running, I think. I don't know. Maybe I should do a video of that when my camera gets here, because I got to get this thing ordered. And that is my goal for this week, is to pick it out. I've had it narrowed down for a long time. And, it's going to be a matter of putting two windows up on the screen, one from one with a picture of one on it and one with the picture of the other on it, and close my eyes and reach out and point. Maybe spin around in a circle one time very slowly so I don't get dizzy, and, go and point at it. Although exercise has really also helped with dizziness. And I do neck exercises, and you want to make sure that you are in a straight line when you do your neck exercises, and you tilt your head down. And it doesn't matter if you can't tilt it far. Don't overstretch, but you tilt it down and then back to straight and center. And then you can go back. And again, when you're going back, don't just let your head drop. And if it's going to just drop, then skip going to that point. Don't go so far back that it drops, because if you do that, then you're going to possibly, end up in a lot of pain for a while. And we don't want that. We don't need that. And we get injured really easily. So I would suggest just tilting your head back a little bit. And when you do this, when you start, leave your eyes centered. Don't, or close, don't do it in a way that is the easiest for you to do it without making yourself dizzy. Because when we tilt our heads and look with our eyes as we tilt our heads, that can often bring on the dizziness. But what we're going to do is kind of bring it on so we can make it go away by retraining it. Because we've got to, just like we have to grasp control of our core muscles, or our butt muscles, or our feet, or our legs, we have to gain control of this dizziness. And a lot of times it is associated with movement, and not just your head movement, but your eye movements as well. So put them in there as you can, but don't try and rush it. Because these things take what? They take time. We can't be in a hurry. It's just, I can't be in a hurry to do a thing. If I have to hurry, then, oh my gosh, I'm gonna take 5 times as long, and I already take a long time. So, don't try and hurry these things along when you're doing them. But yeah, I do the head tilt down and then the head tilt back. And I am now able to also do this with my eyes. So I look down, I keep my eyes open and look down, and then I look up and as I pull them down. Now, I can't use my eyes too many times in a row, or else I'll make my eyes hurt because the muscles become too sore from the muscle weakness in my eyes. And I'm improving that as well by doing the same exercise. But you have to build these things up, and I'm starting over with my right eye. So I can't not move my right eye and only move my left. So I can't do them quite as much. And then the same thing with going from side to side. Now always keep your shoulders down, your posture straight, and please, please always sit down when you're doing these. Always be seated, have something to hold on to, because when we get dizzy, we do not, we do not, blah, 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 we do not want to fall. So always, 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 please sit down. And we look to the side, straight towards one shoulder. Don't overstretch. Go as far as you can comfortably. And then back to the center, where we kind of pause for a second. And then over the other shoulder. And then back to the center. And you don't have to hold these. Now, if you can, that's fine, but don't push yourself too hard, because we don't want to then cause ourselves any pain. And again, if we do this and we are to the point that we can do it without making ourselves completely dizzy or nauseated, which comes with dizzy sometimes for me, then you can start doing your eyes and movement. So you're moving your head to the side, and you really start with your eyes going to the side, and that works your eyes out, those eye muscles. Now, when it comes to going to the side, I have a lot of trouble with my eye movements. My eye movements themselves don't go straight to the side, especially in my right eye. I can feel that it jumps, so take it slow. Don't expect results overnight. We just can't make it happen in one night, or in 1 week. And a lot of us can't do it in a month or 2 months or 3 months. For me, it took, 2.5 years of solid physical therapy. And then I had to stop because of an injury. And then I had to have the surgery. I had kind of lost my mind. I could not think. And, not at all. I circle now, but then I couldn't carry on a conversation for 2 seconds. So, so I had the surgery, and, I've just been through a lot. So I have not started any of that kind of physical therapy back. Oh my gosh, and my time is up. So really quickly, I want to just say, don't give up, y'all, because you can do it regardless of where you start. And these are a couple more suggestions of things you can do for both your ears and tinnitus, and for dizziness of the sort from movement. And there are other types. So we'll move on to that next week. But for now, let me thank everybody so much for listening really quick, and say thank you to Erica Lyons Richardson. And next week, I got some really big news I'll be announcing on here, but I need to make sure everything's final first. So I just really am excited about that. So I love you guys. Take care. Remember, laugh every day as hard as you can. Make those core muscles function. I love you. Bye.